Hello and welcome to Age of Tournament. We definitely did not come up with a name for.
It's time for crazy. Wait, Age of Tournament?
Yeah, Age of Tournament. We're doing that one.
I got my index card mixed up. That's my bad.
Okay, you figure out your index cards. I'll explain in general what we're doing. So, we had a dumb idea, which is basically we are going to do a tournament arc in Age of Empires, and because me and Andy are not the resident experts, even though Andy has somehow become a tryhard in between the time before last and the last time that we played this, we're going to be watching...
I really wanted that sound effect, though.
Mm-hmm.
I used it today. It's beautiful.
Okay, well, that's good. We're going to be watching Joe fight against a series of unmatched opponents, by which we mean computer AI, because we may be YouTubers, but we are also antisocial and we don't like to talk or interact with other people in any possible way.
Yeah, pretty much.
So the way that this will run down is Joe will be competing against a series of opponents in a particular order, which may or may not get more difficult as time goes on. We really have not tested this at all. All we know is that there are opponents, and there's, 5, 6 of them? 7, 12?
There are
98?
going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights with
Many opponents.
9 opponents.
That's the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
I guess that's how math works. So yes,
We accidentally planned it well.
we did. So, with that, we're going to start off by doing a pre-match interview with our star contestant, Joe.
Okay, wait.
Oh God.
Wait.
Hi, and welcome to Tourney Ages. Nope, had it upside down. Hold on. Hello, and welcome to Age of Tourneys.
Yep. Okay. Well, I'm glad you got that figured out. Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing great. We're up here in the booth.
My arms are sore.
Well, stop it. Stop flying in.
Stop holding the cue cards.
Why are you holding the cue cards for yourself?
I'm just that bad.
Okay. Well, I believe it or not, I have questions written up. Would you like to answer them?
I shall try to answer them.
Okay,
No.
That's good, because that was question 1, and if you said no, I didn't know what was going to happen after that.
We go home.
Yeah, that's it. The show
Wait,
is over.
we're already home.
Yeah,
We are home. Okay.
we stopped recording. We're done. The Inco-Opatible is over.
We've reached peak.
Shut it down. Shut it all down.
So, this is your first game of the tournament, but you've been doing a lot of training leading up to today. Can you walk us through your process and what kind of training you've been doing?
Process-wise, I've just been trying to figure out which civilization that I would want to be taking through the entire tournament, because these first few fights I'm fairly certain are going to be really easy for me. Training-wise, I just randomized enemy placement and some civilizations that I would probably encounter, and just did my best to try and deal with them as quickly as possible.
And by civilizations you thought that you were going to encounter, you're talking about Spain, aren't you?
Yes.
Power Spain.
And Spain is likely to be your main rival in this competition because, we're doing the whole anime thing. And they are the 37-time champion or something like that. I don't know. I don't keep track of these things. I don't know sports.
First-time champion.
First-time champion. First-time champion. Possibly second time. As of the end of this, we don't know yet. How do you feel about facing such a legendary opponent with 1 win under his belt?
I'm apprehensive. I mean, I'm fairly good at playing this game. I've managed to see a few tutorial videos as well online, see if there are any ways that I can change my strategy or affect my playstyle in such a fashion that I may be able to take down this one-time champion, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
It would be unprecedented with 1 win.
Yes.
You decided on which civilization you're going to be playing earlier this week, like in the middle of it. So that's basically under the wire in terms of how tournaments work. Do you want to share who you'll be playing today, or should we just find out when we get into the game?
I mean, I can share it now. It's probably going to be the one that I keep playing through the entire tournament because it really fits with the playstyle that I've chosen, or that I prefer to play. I'm going to go with the Franks, primarily because their discount on castles allows me to do either a offensive castle drop or defensive. It really makes it easy for me to gather enough resources and put 2 or 3 castles instead of maybe one that one would occasionally get.
Andy approves of castles.
I'm sure you do. In addition to that, their Frankish the Paladins are one of the strongest units in the game, particularly with their unique bonus of 20% buff to cavalry for knights health bar. So tanky knights. I believe they also have a full stable tech tree aside from bloodlines, but that makes sense. They're actually learned recently that their farmers got a debuff, so instead of a 25% efficiency for farmers, that's been bumped down to 15%. I may actually be wrong on that, but it's a bit of a debuff, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, you're the one who knows these things. You should probably be the commentator on these, but you know,
I'm playing.
You're also the one who knows how to play, so we're kind of at an impasse here.
A little bit.
Yeah, so in this first one, I mean, you're practically an expert at this, so you're going to be up against more than one opponent. How do you feel about being outnumbered so early in the competition?
I'm not very surprised. I mean, these are the first fights are the mook fights. You gotta deal with the chaff before you get to like the actual competitors. So
yeah, you gotta fight all the anime characters who don't have, drawn faces.
Yeah,
they're all CGI.
They all got normal hair color too.
Yep.
A quick follow-up question. You said you chose the Franks because of their cheaper castles. Do you feel that that's going to play a very large part in being outnumbered and achieving victory while you are outnumbered?
Specifically for dealing with the kind of enemies I have to deal with at the moment, or adversaries, is mainly using the castles to lame any potential resources, specifically gold and stone, to remove any possibility of them attaining something like a monk rush or unique units or putting up their own castles.
So they'll be choking them out.
Pretty much.
Can't build nothing if you can't afford it, right?
Yep,
exactly. Or you can just be like you and go to the market. Spend 300 gold for 14 stone a pop.
Listen, it's a good deal if you can get it. Invest in stone.
It was worth it.
So last question that I have here is, in this first, at least one, possibly in the second match, you're going to have both myself and Andy talking in your ear the entire time, with no way to tell us to shut up. How do you think it's going to affect your performance, if at all?
I mean, I'm glad it's happening during the first fights instead of during the ones where I actually need to concentrate, so I don't know. I'm sure you will do your darndest to make everything difficult.
You're damn right.
I'm not surprised.
Don't worry, I'm already hacking into your computer as we speak.
Oh, shit.
Alright, well, that's all my questions. I think now we will cut to commercial, and we will come back at the beginning of the match. We will see you there, folks.
Bye.
Stay on the field.
We're here to persuade people to drink more Wilkins coffee.
What's the club for?
To get their attention.
And welcome to the game in progress. We have Joe as the Franks over here on this island versus 3 other people, the Italians, the Byzantines, and the Slavs, also known as Rome, and Rome. They're not very good at naming things, are they?
Well, it's more like Rome, but nobody likes to call it Rome anymore. And we like to consider ourselves the successor to Rome, but nobody calls us Rome or even really refers to us in any way as Roman.
That's true.
We just kind of stole their church.
So right off the bat, we have Joe with 2 houses and everyone on food. should be interesting. He's basically going to go for a villager rush right at the start.
No!
Well, I mean, it makes sense. The faster he can get his economy really, really rolling, the better he'll be able to deal with whatever his 3 opponents decide to start throwing at him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the real trick for them to win right now is they need to take control of the seas.
Yeah.
If they let Joe take over the water, they just, because it's a battle at this point. Well, I mean, at this point, it's just a race to see who can get going.
Mm-hmm.
But they have the advantage in that there's 3 of them. They could, in theory, just pool their resources into one person and have that person just kind of rush early into building navies or something.
That would be an interesting idea. I think we would see that if we were going with human players or AI of any real intelligence, but unfortunately these are not that. We have 3 very similar opening strategies of building 1 lumber camp each, 1 house each, and then splitting up their villagers. So it looks like they're all going to be going for a very similar strategy of basically building as they will.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, Capture Age has them with the balance of power, but right now I think that this is pretty solidly in Joe's camp.
Yeah, he definitely has the per player villager ratio down. He's opening up into forestry.
Yep. But yeah, no, if they can take control of the waters, then they can pretty much force Joe into a no-win scenario.
Mm-hmm. Interested to see if they break in their strategy at any point, because so far it seems like they're doing everything at just about the same time. They've all opened up a mill right next to the berry bushes. We may see one of them building a dock at some point soon if they start running out of food.
Can you even build a dock in the first stage? I genuinely don't remember. No, yeah, you can, because you can get fishing ships. But
Okay.
that's like pretty much it. I think
Yeah.
fishing ships and maybe galleys are all you have access to at this point.
Something like that. We should just say that you can get cannon galleons in the first stage so that we can make Joe have an aneurysm. Well, Joe has built a mill on his own, but he's going after the boar, as is his strategy.
And he is getting a dock. He is not going to let them take control of the seas.
Yeah.
Or he is simply just building it just to show us who's, what you're able to build, or just who's not dumb.
Well, it would also give him that second building that he needs to go up in age.
Actually,
got
the
it.
granary and the lumber mill provide that.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I
Yes,
guess
or
they
the
do.
granary and the houses. I'm not 100% sure.
I don't think houses count. I believe that you're right in that the mill and the lumber mill would give him that age. So all he needs now is to build up enough food to go up in age. But I think he's going to also be focusing on the villagers at this point, trying to get his economy going.
Yes, definitely. I mean, he's basically started to lap all of the AI.
Oh, well, the AI are all starting on their docks at the same time.
Interesting. They are definitely getting docks.
They're only maybe a minute or so behind Joe, so this will be interesting. We'll see.
Maybe
if
they will try to contest the ocean.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, they did not start on them. Well, might just be randomness of placement, but red is the last one to get their dock up. It looks like green and blue finished first.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, because what they could do is if they all focused on taking control of the sea and just park right outside Joe's Island, they would have a real chance.
That would give them a chance. Because if they built up enough, they could just kind of sit out there, and Joe would either have to dump his resources into building towers to keep them away from his island, or to try and build up enough of a safe area to build his own ships to contest against them.
Which
As
he would
far
be able
as
to do against
control.
against the edge of the map. I do believe
Yeah,
that
that would
from,
be...
from land to the edge along the back there, he would have enough space to set up towers and control a small channel.
Yeah, I would probably do it. I think if I was going to try and do the safe harbor strategy, I would have towers and maybe a castle on the left end of the island, and then on the right end where you see there's kind of like that halberd pike.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't put any towers there, but I would put them on that kind of chin under the halberd, kind of axe head.
Yeah,
right in there.
That would be a good place for a castle. Cover that whole side.
Yeah, and then that would pretty much. I mean, it wouldn't stop like a large number of them going through at the same time, but you know, it would make it a lot harder to get stuff through. And then probably just a few towers along the whole distance. And then, yeah, that would give you a pretty safe area to try and build up.
I do believe we have our first naval vessel of the game coming from the Byzantines. Basil the Macedonian has put out a fishing ship. He seems to be using it to explore the waters, checking out those islands in the middle there. Joe, on the other hand, is building a second dock. Expect he plans to simply outproduce the enemy. Oh, and he is on the verge of going up to the feudal age.
Yes, he is. He is definitely beating them.
This will be interesting.
And he's got 2 of his own fishing ships building.
Oh, okay.
Actually, 4.
He has the superior fleet then.
Yeah, well, I don't think the fishing ships can fight.
Well, it's the spirit that counts.
Well, I mean, they could in theory fight by taking all the food resources from other ships before other ships can get them. Well, I was thinking of like Norway and England and how they're always fighting over each other's fishing ships fishing in their area.
Oh, okay, we have all 3 of the AI starting on their feudal age at the same time. They do seem to have slightly split up in terms of their buildings. That might just be in terms of placement, but it does seem that red is slightly lagging behind the other 2, which I find kind of interesting. We have our first military base set up as a barracks, and from Joe, because who else would it be from?
Yeah. It's very interesting getting to watch how the AI operates, you know, so freely like we do now.
Yeah. And we do have Joe with a transport ship. I'm interested to see what he goes with. He could try and set up a base on one of the center islands, but I have a feeling he's going to go and set up a base on one of the enemy islands instead, start his own little breach or his own
colony.
That's the one.
It's a colony.
Yes.
He's going to colonize one of their islands. I would. Yes. It would make sense. The sooner he can start putting the pressure on one of the AI, the better. Granted, this is still easy AI, so they're going to probably fold pretty quickly, but in theory, if you can start putting pressure on one and slowing it down, it's going to just hamper the team in the long term.
Now,
he's got his transport is on the move. He has a scout in it.
Oh.
I wonder if he's going to have that scout attempt to take down a few enemy villagers.
It's not a bad idea, and he doesn't really need that scout at this point. He's explored his entire island, I'm sure.
I'm sure he may not have explored all of it, but I'm sure he's got a very large chunk of it explored.
Does seem to be going in to see what Blue is doing, although he might just have the transport ship sailing out to find where the enemy is at this point.
Yeah, that's possible. Oh, he's offloaded the scout.
Alright. I think it's time for harassing.
I do not think the scout is... Oh, he has definitely found Blue's base. Not that the islands are that big to hide a base on, but he definitely knows where Blue is. Oh, there they go.
And we have the AI in the feudal age as well.
Oh no, that's interesting. Blue and red are researching the loom. Green currently is not.
That's interesting. Although green is also closer in terms of resources to being able to age up.
Yeah, I wonder, did No, I do not believe green has already researched it. Yes, because now blue's villagers are showing extra armor, whereas green are not. That is interesting. I think that is the first major divergence in the AI's algorithms there.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I would have put money on red being the one that lagged behind, just in terms of them also building each of their buildings slower. But that's interesting. I'd be interested to know why that happened.
I don't think this is so much lagging behind as I think the AI has determined to operate under a different strategy.
It'll be interesting to see if that plays out for them.
I'll admit, I don't remember a whole lot, but I remember reading a little bit about how the AI for Age of Empires works, or how it used to work. I don't know. They may have changed it for the definitive edition. But I believe it was something along the lines of it worked via weighted decisions. So it would kind of like look at everything that it knew and would try to decide like, okay, well, at this point I have, this, and this, and I know he has this, and this. Joe is getting a lot of research done.
He sure is. And Blue has decided to build a market for some reason. I'm not entirely certain why they would do that.
Probably an age up building.
That would make sense.
That would be why I'd build it.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. If it were me, I would have gone for the more aggressive buildings, just because the market's not going to do a whole lot on this island.
Well, I mean, you can still use it to trade resources and stuff.
That
or
is
get
true.
Cheaper tribute abilities.
It does seem that, Red has also started their own market. They may have the same idea. And there goes Green's market.
Yeah. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, I believe they used to operate under weighted decisions, so they would kind of, try to choose their actions based on what seemed to make the most sense. So I'm guessing that for Green, they may have chosen not to do the loom. Or Green is the Byzantines. Do they get the loom technology?
I would assume so. Although it could
Everyone
be
gets loom.
That the decision making was swayed towards getting the resources to age up first, and then building the buildings necessary to actually do that age up.
Possibly. I don't know. I'd have to go try to I gotta go see if I can. I'm really curious if the Byzantines get
Get the loom? I would assume so. I'd be surprised if they didn't. I'll continue our commentary in the meantime. Joe is absolutely demolishing them in terms of economy. The bar has swayed back in his favor. I think that our AI friends are having a real problem of not having enough villagers to do anything. Oh, and we have started the AI manipulating the economy by selling food to drive the price of gold. I'd be interested to see if that actually plays into anything, since Joe, as of yet, has not built a market. He also has not built any monasteries, although I do not recall off the top of my head if monasteries are a feudal or castle age technology, although it will not matter.
Castle age.
Okay. It won't matter in about 2 minutes, because he has started the castle age research.
Yes. Also, Blue has sold resources.
Yes, they both seem to focus on selling food, which is an interesting decision, because it also hampers their ability to build those villagers that they will definitely need to have a chance of catching up to Joe at this point.
They have all been at 8 villagers for quite a while now. I don't think they're going any higher.
I don't think so either.
Also,
it's kind of a shame.
Yeah, I have looked. The Byzantines do in fact get the loom, but apparently Green has decided to not go for it.
It might be, and I'm wondering if it does this kind of calculation, because Green is technically the furthest away from Joe, that it's weighing its defensive options as being lower than its economical ones?
It might. It very might. I don't know.